As a content creator, I'm always looking for gear that can be used for multiple purposes. Well, here I have the Amaran 60D and 60X, which is a fantastic video light, but as a primary portrait photographer, when I saw this light and how small it was and the fact that you could use batteries, I figured that this could be the perfect light for night portraits. The big question though is using this LED light better than using speed lights for night portraits? Let's go ahead and cover todo el pedo. I do want to mention that Aputure did send me these lights for free, but they did not pay me, nor did they have any input on the final outcome of this video. They, matter of fact, haven't even seen this video, so they are watching it for the first time, just like you. One of the biggest motivators for me to use the Amaran 60D and 60X for portraits is this LED light checked off a lot of the boxes that I wanted in an LED light. And the first one being that this light is small and compact. The fact that this light can fit in my camera bag and it's basically the same size as my Sigma 85mm lens, as well as a speed light. And I found that shocking when I first opened up the box. I wish I would have recorded my reaction because I was just, and I'm still to this day, I'm still blown away at how small these lights are and how compact. The second checkbox that this light has is the fact that it has a Bowens mount included, which is huge for me because I own a bunch of Westcott modifiers, and the fact that I can reuse those not only for photography, but also use those with these Amaran lights makes a huge difference for me, which basically means I don't have to go and invest and buy new modifiers. The next thing on the list is the fact that these lights are very easy to use. They only have a few buttons, and I didn't have to waste a lot of time learning how to use all of these features, which is great because, let's be honest, I just want to go out and shoot, and I don't want to have to spend so much time learning how to set up and organize each of these lights. The fourth one on the list is probably the one that had the most impact, and it was the fact that this light has a NPF battery plate for on-location shooting, and it uses the Sony NPF batteries, which is fantastic. One of the biggest struggles that I had using other LED lights was the fact that there was so many cords and you had to use heavy battery packs, and it was really cumbersome to want to use for on-location portraits. But the fact that everything can just be included in such a small unit makes it so much easier to shoot on location. And the last one that sealed the deal for me is that it comes with a separate tilter bracket, which is great because that means the light can stay small, and whenever I want to connect it to a C-stand, I just screw it to the bottom of the light, and now I can mount it to a C-stand. And with all these checkboxes in place, of course, I had to do a night portrait to really see what this light could create. So let's take a look at a behind the scenes video of me using these lights, and then we'll go over all the specs and my final thoughts about this light.
I suppose that we won't stand a chance. We won't stand a chance.
I hope you enjoyed those photographs, and let me know in the comment section below, what is your gear of choice for creating night portraits? Are you using speed lights, a 200 watt strobe, or LED lights? And what modifier are you using? And now let's quickly look at an overview of the 60D and 60X specs. These lights weigh about 275 grams and come in at $169 for the 60D and $199 for the 60X. The 60D stands for daylight, which comes in at about 6500 Kelvin, and the 60X is a bicolor light where you can control the color temperature. As I mentioned earlier, they do have the Bowens mount and can dim all the way from 0 all the way to 100. And if I need to, I can push the button down and it can go in 20% increments. It also has a cooling fan that is on always, has a 1/4-20 tilter bracket, which you can mount to the C-stand, and can be powered with Sony NP-F batteries using the V-mount dual battery plate. The one thing though is the batteries are not included, but you can buy some on Amazon for a great price. And lastly, you can use the Sidus Link app to wirelessly control these lights. And you can use the Bluetooth wireless control with the app, which allows for different capabilities with these lights. After using LED lights for the first time for night portraits, I did have some final thoughts about using them. And the first one being that they were easy to use. And the fact that what you see is what you get makes it so much easier. And I can see how if you're a natural light photographer, this could really make it a lot less intimidating, because when you're using flash or any type of strobe, you have to learn how to use the trigger, the flash, and get used to all of those buttons. But this one, very easy to use, like I mentioned earlier, just has a few buttons. But the fact that you get to see the light fall off and the quality of light, and you basically get to see the final output, for me was a game changer, and it allowed me to work a lot faster. And as a bonus, it also helps get a little bit more color in the eye, because these lights are constantly on. The pupil doesn't get dilated and doesn't get big and cover up a lot of that color in the eye, which is a huge bonus if that's what you want in your work. And one of the disadvantages with speed lights is that some of them don't have modeling lights. So that means it could be a little bit more difficult to focus depending on the location you're shooting, of course. But we talked about it right now, the iris or the pupil is gonna get a little bit bigger, so you're gonna lose a little bit of that color. But there are some advantages with the speed lights that I still feel that they have some advantages. Now, the speed lights, we're just talking about night portraits, but speed lights are gonna be a lot more versatile when it comes to all kinds of shooting in the studio, for events and so forth. The price is a lot cheaper for speed lights, but I also feel like using color gels is a little bit easier with speed lights, and using multiple lights. I did do this setup one time where I used 3 different lights, and using these speed lights, you can literally just hang them off of walls, point them everywhere, hide them behind the subject. And so there are advantages and disadvantages to either method. And the big takeaway here is that everybody's workflow is different. It's not about one's better than the other or one sucks. It's all about what do you want in your workflow. So if I'm doing single light portraits, maybe with just 1 light or maybe 2 lights, and I need to move quick and I want to see the final outcome, that's where the LED lights are really going to shine. And if I want to work with multiple lights and I want to have more versatility, because maybe I do weddings and I do studio and I do night portraits, well, there you'll find that the speed lights are just going to work great for you. And let me know in the comment section, what do you guys prefer, LED lights or speed lights for night portraits? Thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, here are some more videos that you can continue watching. You guys have a beautiful day, and I will see you guys on the next one.